Hello and welcome to these higher self channel sessions. These sessions basically involve me channeling different topics, questions, thoughts and ideas. Some that I've either brought up to my higher self or indeed just bringing through what is needed to come through at the time. So I hope you enjoy and much love. This channel session is all about experience and I hope you enjoy. So, to begin, I would like to say that who you are and who we are two separate but of the whole same energies, if you will. We are created from the same source, but yet we are unique in our individuality. We are creating a systemic change within the programming of who we are compared to the possibility of who we could be. In fact, by creating this individual content within who we are allowing what is to come through to create a change within the energies of what is. We are allowing them to create an individualistic nature within who we are, to allow this change to become possible within this realm. We are creating what is necessary for the whole of all that is to grow and to flourish, both as a collective and that of an individualistic nature. In terms of speaking, these different aspects of personality, these different influences towards the aspect of the whole are indeed what create the gestalt of what is, the larger than the whole. They are indeed what is necessary for the all that is to progress. It is the idea that we understand that experience is necessary for us to learn and to grow, not only within this of the 3D world that you are inhabiting, but also in that of the energies of the all that is. It is understanding that within other dimensions, experience is still experience. It is just realizing that the experience in which you are indeed experiencing, it is not the same as what you might expect to find within that of a different dimension. To understand that we are all relating on different vibrational levels, different levels within a game, if you will, to which we are playing. Indeed, these experiences are to be accepted as part of themselves. They are indeed something to play towards, something that you might not expect to see within this existence, something that you might not understand that will flow towards your own understanding. But indeed, these experiences are part and parcel of all that is. To put it into different and greater terms, if you will, it is realizing that the experience in which you are part of is indeed part of the realization of who you as the body that you are encompassed within. It is indeed realizing that this experience is unique to any other kind of experience that you will come across. Therefore, it is easy to see how you, as an individual aspect of the whole of all that is, you are indeed unique in every possible way. It is realizing that within you, you are capable of experiencing all that is needed for you to progress towards your highest self. When we look and start to see the different pathways that you can take towards your own version of experience, your own physical and spiritual experience, it is realizing that these are indeed part of the ethos of all that is. These are part of the levels towards which you can indeed leave your imprint, if you will. Indeed, even parts of you which do not realize that you are making these choices. You are giving yourselves over to a process which is of great value to all that is. It is understanding that within this you are realizing that there is so many different levels to realizing how far experience goes. It is understanding that indeed on one level you have the present moment in which you are experiencing, the level in which your consciousness is currently sitting. But it is also to realize that where you are currently sitting, where you are within the present moment, is not all of what is within your own understanding. It is realizing that different events, different choices and choices that have yet to be made, different thoughts, different ideas are all conscious. They are all part of the all that is, part of the whole. It is realizing that even if you have not consciously made that choice, if you are not living out the choice of a thought, the other side of a path, it is realizing that it is indeed still played out within a different version of your reality. It is understanding that this comes under the multidimensional aspects of who you are. It is realizing that part of who you are is within this very moment. Another part of who you are, if you will, is sitting within that of another conscious choice. It is realizing that these are indeed choices that have been made, that have yet to be made, that are past, present, and future, if you will, within your own understanding. But it is realizing within this that how we come about these choices are indeed through energy. And this is where we come to the understanding of how your version of time, the linear version of time, is limited in its own understanding. It is realizing that within this there is such a vast cause, a vast understanding that you can take towards who you are, a level yet to be reached, if you will, an understanding that who you are within the very moment is not necessarily who you are within the present future. It is realizing that your own understanding of the very gestalt of all that is not to be limited by your own understanding, in which we mean that all of what is not yet made. It is a constant growing process of all that is. You should realize that within this, you have the capability to make the changes, make the experiences necessary to work towards your highest good. Understanding that within your own process of experience, you are creating what is necessary for you to move forwards. The conscious realization of thought in and of itself is not necessary for you to move forwards in a way that you can create the environment in front of you, if you will. It is understanding that when you take a step back from all that is, you are allowing that awareness, that conscious awareness, to permeate throughout your own actions. It is realizing that all of what you are within the present moment, all of what you are within the present future, within the present past, is a culmination of experience and choice, made or unmade. Your true, highest multidimensional self is aware of more of its own self, more than you are currently aware of. Indeed, it is a culmination of past lives, future lives, present life. It is understanding that you are indeed part of a bigger picture. You are creating what is necessary for you to move forwards towards that higher path where you are indeed moving, creating that momentum for you to pass through to that higher realm, if you will. A realm which is constantly accessible by yourself. It is simply where you are within your own experience to see whether you have allowed yourself to remove that limit, to remove the blinders, to allow you to see the pathways towards that higher understanding. Indeed, even as we speak, we realize that there is a certain level of knowledge and understanding that will permeate throughout who you are, conscious or unconscious. It is this understanding, this experience, which comes from a culmination of different souls, different aspects, which create this bigger picture, if you will. You are indeed moving yourself to a higher level of understanding. The idea of what is within a linear progression works well to that of a human eye, but does not give the grasp and understanding of what it means to be a multidimensional being. How to access these different experiences that you are indeed capable of experiencing. Something for you to think about is realizing that you are indeed more than yourself in which you realize within one given moment. Where you project your consciousness is where you lie. This does not mean it makes up the whole of who you are. If you look to yourself within a past experience, you are simply creating that projection to that of the past. You are drawing it to the present moment. You are creating that allowance, but in that allowance, your consciousness is brought there. You are within that moment, if you will, but within that of your understanding, you are creating that allowance to be in that moment. Yet you could be within much more, without much more. There is still things for you to see which are yet to be understood within that of humanity. It is realizing that all of what you have access to at the moment is simply a combination of that of a collective force, that of the collective identity of humanity. It is realizing that within this, you are capable of changing what is necessary for not only that of your own life, but that of the collective individuals of humanity. You are creating change on an individual and collective level. You are spreading that out through energetic ripples, if you will. These ripples, this understanding of how energy can flow, is simply allowing all that is within the energy of all that is, the love of all that is, to flow to your highest good. To the highest good of who you are within the aspect of your identity, to within the highest good of this soul collective. When you start to come to an understanding of who you are within an individualistic nature, when you come into the self and understand that of the true self, you can start to look outwards. Indeed, you can start to create change without even necessarily realizing it, on so many different levels that you would not even be able to comprehend it. It is realizing that truth comes from the self. Change comes from the self. Understanding and experience comes from the self. Everything that you are and that you are made up of comes from the self, from the consciousness, from the idea of who you are. When you come to that understanding, when you start to realize that all of what you are and who you possibly can be is right there within you, then you start to bring that allowance, start to allow the energy to flow in higher and more accessible ways in which you can start to create an access. Start to allow this energy to permeate throughout who you are within the existence of humanity itself. And when you allow that energy to flow, when you allow it to come through in ways in which you never thought you would be able to access or to even realize, you start to allow it to permeate throughout that of all that is. You start to allow it to flow to other aspects of personality. Indeed, you start to create what is within reality to your highest good. Experience creates experience. Experience allows us to create and bend and manipulate, to love, to give or to take. It is a tool that allows us to move forwards, to see, to hear, to learn. But it is indeed necessary to create an allowance for experience to give to us. rather than to take from us. It is realizing that experience is there indeed to aid us. For it is from experience that we find ourselves in different states where we can suffer, where we can hate, but also where we can love, where we can give, where we can find joy and bliss. It is from these states that we create the allowance to move forwards, to learn and to grow, to benefit that of humanity and that of the highest self, that of all different realms. The more you understand that experience is there for you to learn from, to create from, the more you find yourself pulling back from that trap of suffering, that trap of giving your life over to a certain way of being. When you allow yourself to shape experience, you're indeed allowing yourself to let go of that of the ego, bringing it back into that of a healthy version for you to progress towards your highest good. Experience is there to give us the tools necessary to move forwards. When we learn to master the idea of experience, to understand that indeed experience comes from the self, we start to create within our world, within our reality. It is that how we indeed create change. Experience is part of the whole. It is part of who you are. Indeed, when we allow this allowance to come through, we realize that you as an individual aspect of your identity is indeed the whole of what is. It is understanding that you are capable of realizing the change for your own good. You are capable of understanding that experience is necessary for us to progress. Understanding the reality in which you are part and parcel of all that is. You are creating what is necessary to move forwards. You are necessary to move forwards. It is the idea that we create this allowance that experience is out of our control that creates the idea of a runaway experience. It is understanding that simply we are making the allowance that experience comes from the self. Indeed, allowing it to come from us to give to our highest good. Allow it to become you. Allow it to be the very moment in which you are sitting in. You will find that not only experience is there for you to make fun of, if you will, there to create and play with, but it is also there for you to learn and to grow. It is there to create what is within reality, to allow this to come forth and give to the highest good, to allow that furthering creation of all that is. Knowing that all of what you experience is part of who you are, is necessary for you to move forwards. It is simply creating what is within the reality that you find yourself in. Remove the old ideas of having experience as that restriction. Create what is right now within the present moment. As you create, you will find that allowance of energy that will move you forwards towards your highest good, towards the next present moment, towards the never-ending present moments that will give you your highest level of experience necessary for you to move to your highest good, to that of the collective's highest good. Realize within the soul of who you are that experience is necessary for you to move forwards. Realize that it is not a negative, nor is it a positive thing. It is just what it is. It is allowing this energy to create the path for you to move forwards upon. When we can break down those old seated ideas, then we can start to move forwards from the true self. Incorporate the present moment into that of the experience. Indeed, sit within the present moment and feel what you need to feel to move forwards. Do not allow the experience to rule who you are, nor do you necessarily rule the experience. It is simply creating the allowance from the experience to learn what you can to move forwards. You are capable of great change within your own life and that of others. Other individuals, other aspects, other layers towards your own self. You realize that you are more than what you feel to be. You know this within the core of who you are. Even if it is not right there in front of you, you know it within the very aspect of who you are. When we can allow ourselves to create that connection back towards the true self, then we allow ourselves to flow forwards with experience. With that, we will leave you, and we give blessings upon you and blessings upon the planet. Namaste.